All right, so now we're going to go ahead and jump into the changes that happened for the Empire. And we start with the Alpha Class Star Wing Lieutenant Karsabi, -3 points. The other gunboats, though, staying the same points. Not surprised, most of the time, if you're seeing a Alpha Class out there, you're seeing Major Vinder. So Karsabi going down in points is a little bit of a incentive to potentially fly it, especially now that it is cheaper than the Rogue Squadron pilot. So you could take one of them only at 33 points, but possible value there, sitting at 33 points. Next, we move into the Lambdas, the Alabaster Hippos, as I like to call them. We have the Captain Kagi going down 1 point, Lieutenant Sai down 1 point, and the Omicron Group pilot. I know most people are probably going to be looking at that Omicron Group pilot, and if we go look back in the historical record, it's been, it's been at 43 for a long time. Hasn't really been used too much, but now creeping down to 41. We know that Lieutenant Sai in the past has been more expensive, starting at around, has always been 47 points, coming down a little bit, but has seen less popularity as the aces have become more expensive. But maybe sees more play now at 47. As we continue here, not surprised to see the TIE Advanced V1s to go up in price. You have Fifth Brother, one of the most popular of the set, going from 42 to 44 points for a total of 2 points increased. The generic Inquisitor goes up 3 points, up to 39. Now let's go ahead and take a look in the Wayback Machine. So opened up at 40 points on the onset and slowly creeped down, and essentially what we're seeing is the fact that the Inquisitors are just going back to where they were because we've realized, in fact, how good they are.
Well, I'm going to preface this by saying that I think these cost increase are probably too much.
You think it's reactive to... Go ahead.
Way too hard to a point in time where they were never played. There was a reason for that. I mean, yeah, we've discovered uses for them now, but they're also at a lower cost at that point in time. So 3 points is a lot for both of these.
I think 3 points is a lot for the Inquisitor, not the Baron. I think the Baron is fine with that 3 point, in my opinion. The Inquisitor, I don't think that it's an 8 point gap between Inquisitor and Baron. I think keeping the Inquisitor as is, or maybe just up by 1, and the Baron up by 3 would have been good. But I agree on the Inquisitor side. The Inquisitor getting 3 seems harsh. Baron, I do think it's got access to too many toys to only be 28.
All right, let's keep it rolling. We get to the X1s. TIE Advance X1, you see Merrick Steele, Ved Foslo, and Zertik Strom, a.k.a. the least used of the X1s, all getting a little discount, saying, "Hey, we're on sale. You wanna take us home?" So we'll see if they actually get placed in lists. Of course, Darth Vader, not surprised to see him staying at Order 66. As we continue to move down here, TIE Reaper Vizier. Again, the pattern here when we kind of see random Imperial ones changing there were just some staples that people would always fly for each of the chassis, and the versions of those, or the pilots in those chassis that weren't being played, are getting reductions to see if maybe they can start making a splash. So Vizier going from 45 down to 42. We move into the Aggressor, Lieutenant Kestel. Lieutenant Kestel is a high initiative ship. If I'm remembering correctly, I don't want to say she's one of these initiative 4s, right? One of these initiative 4s that people keep playing around with, and just keeps going down in price, down to 29 points. Now it's only down 1, but starting out at 36 at the onset of second edition, it tells you that we've seen Kestel show up in kind of the Imperial salads, but slowly making its way down to 29. That's only 1 point more than Double Edge and the Onyx Squadron Scout. But of course, really the one that shines is that 26-point Signar Specialist. That's why you see it so often compared to any of the higher initiative ones. Now, our boy Darth Vader in the Defender does get a point reduction from 115. By the way, thank you to everybody who lost that bet and gave a bunch of money to charity. That was super fun. And down to 112. So still quite expensive. Still quite expensive. We have seen it in the last couple of events show up here or there. Hasn't been extremely dominating, but has shown that it can be good, though it might function a little bit differently now with its build partners that we're building to 200 now. So I'll be curious to see what happens. Down 3 points. Volskaris also goes down in points, goes from 82 to 77. Not surprised to see that pilot go down. Volskaris is one that, as a character, people were kind of excited to see him enter the game, but his ability is strange. Is at the very least.
Is he the one that tractors himself?
No, he's the one that you can take it's like a charge based. You take a strain to basically delay your action, kind of like passive sensors.
Oh, that's actually really good without bid. He's initiative 5 too, right?
Yeah, that's one of the things.
On if you see initiative 6s across the board that shoot before you,
or if you see initiative 5s that you're moving first, then
actually,
you would have to shoot first.
If you move first, you actually have the opportunity, both in the Interceptor and the Defender version, for you to engage and then do a repositioning out of them.
Yeah, so that would only really matter against size 6s.
It's pretty rough against size 6s.
Now, I think, Will, were you the one who said, I think on the last podcast, that Volskaris might actually see some play now, at least an attempt?
It was a listener question of him being one of the best beneficiaries of random initiative, because his value goes actually up when he's shooting first. Is that good? I don't know. We'll see. Hard to say.
All right.
Probably that he has better value of an ace that has to move first than other aces that normally really want to move second. Because he still has to deal with someone still being able to mitigate his ability to reposition on his engagement, but he can deal with it better, but it's at the cost of a strain.
And we're going to continue down the road here. Captain Dobbs minus 2 points as well. That's another one of those defenders that really didn't see play. It was released in one of these new boxes and nobody really looked at it. And the reality is that people have been looking at the deltas, sometimes Rexler, but now with Vader kind of popping up, more Vader. But if you don't remember what Captain Dobbs does, while another friendly ship at range 0 to 1 defends before the neutralized result step, if you are in the attack arc and are not ionized, you may gain 1 ion to cancel one of those hits. So, I mean, that feels a little bad, taking on ions to avoid damage on your friends. That's usually not the Imperial way. Usually they're pretty ruthless. See what I did there? All right. We'll continue. Volskaris in the Interceptor, for the same reasons, goes down in points from 46 to 43. The Saber Squadron Ace goes up by 1. I find that interesting. I'd like to take a pause here. Why do you think that is? We also see the Alpha Squadron pilot go up. I'm not surprised on that one. Initiative 1. Interceptors, quite good. Saber Squadron Aces going up. Why do you think?
Why do you say there's a difference between one being better than, so you said
it's
you
because
were
this
really
is Initiative
surprised by
1.
the Saber, but you weren't surprised by the Alpha?
It's because it's Initiative 1. No, I am surprised by the Saber and not surprised by the Alpha.
Yeah, why are you not surprised by the Alpha?
Because that low initiative blocker when you're using Sloan, generally, but of course we're going to get to Sloan here in a minute, was a boon. I'm just kind of surprised to see the Saber take that same penalty.
I mean, do we think it has a lot to do with sensitive controls being 0? Is that the reason?
Yeah.
But it's weird for the Saber, because that initially as a card is better benefit on a lower initiative, where the Alpha, that's more I could see why the difference there, because you're still netting a -1 cost by adding sensitive controls to the ship, but at its base chassis it went up by 1.
Yeah, and alphas might be better with the sensitive controls. And I think it was Marcel earlier mentioned that disciplined is best when paired with sensitive controls because you're not stressed in combat then. But at the same time, though, flip-flop of that, the sabers can also auto thrusters off of the discipline triggers in combat for some barrel roll boost or target lock boost, target lock barrel roll. Why not just do both? So like they're pretty powerful, and they're getting more and more tools. So it makes sense that they're getting some slight uptick.
Good points there. Thank you for pointing that out. And we continue. Lieutenant Lurir, our wannabe Star Viper, -2 points. I know people do have some fun flying that. I see Marcel excited. But probably the biggest thing of note, some might call it legendary, the Sunterfell goes down by 1 point. That's only 1 point, down to 53. But I think that is a... you're an Initiative 6. You're about to be in a little bit more of a difficult world. With bids not mattering, we're going to give you a point back. Also, we really hadn't been seeing too much of Sunterfell, and I think mostly that had to do with the fire sprays being so prevalent, and Sunterfell prefers to fight against ships that are like facing each other, and fire sprays, they're just so good. They get to run away.
Do you think it has anything to do with him losing all his upgrade slots?
Did he actually lose all the upgrade slots? I don't think. Know. I think that's a mistake.
The PDF, there's no upgrade slots next to Soontir, but there is a line of extra slots for the defenders above them that is aligned with the Interceptor right now. So I'm assuming he's supposed to have upgrade slots, but
yeah,
has none, and they've modified the Imperial PDF already once. So
all right,
the true Ace of Legend needs no upgrades.
That's right. I mean, let's be honest, he really doesn't. All right. Now, one of them that people have been asking for such a long time. In recent history, we can go back. When was it where the points just skyrocketed on these TIE fighters? So it was when Hal Runner opened at 40 points and jumped up to 46 because there was a ton of TIE Swarm play. And Hal Runner, while she's not quite at her opening cost of 40 points, she's down to 41. From 44 to 41, and a bunch of the Inferno squadrons end up going down by 2 points. Let's go ahead and hit it. And some of the other TIE fighters as well who are part of Black Squadron. So Hal Runner down 3 points. Mauler Mythel down 2. Scourge down 2. Del Miko down 2. Gideon Hask, Sen Marana, Valen Rudor, and Night Beast all down by 2 points. Hey, I think TIE Swarms at least might be attempted. We don't know if in our current environment if they are good. There's no way to know unless you try. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see them out there. And we're gonna keep it rolling here. We got to the Phantoms. We see the Sigma Squadron Ace gets bumped up a point. That might have to do with the fact that Juke went down a point. Just kind of an adjustment for that specific ship, as Juke does work really well on the TIE Phantom. We move to the TIE Heavy, a.k.a. Brutes, all -1 point from their previous cost. They haven't really seen a ton of play. I attempted to fly Rampage during the Gold Squadron Showdown. It was okay. But really, I feel like the Brute hasn't found its place yet, even though it did bring in some interesting cards, specifically that Sync Laser Cannon that it has that makes those HMPs really, really good. So brought in some interesting ideas, and it's a cool model. But -1 point, maybe we'll see people flying it. We continue here into the TIE Strikers. Oh, by the way, we'll get to it here in a minute, but the configurations on those type routes also went down in cost. So really, they're going down more than just one.
As we also recall, those Sync Laser did go up. So there's a little bit. There's a lot of points swapping around depending on what you like to
Mm-hmm.
normally equip with them, which is sync laser, which was what people normally went for.
Yeah, but they get free maneuver assist now.
True.
Just stapled on. No decision making. Put it on first. That's very powerful.
Love it. All right, now we get to what is one of my favorite Imperial ships, the TIE Striker. Duchess stays the same, not surprised, her being the highest initiative, it's really good. But Countdown and Vagabond both going down by 2 points. All right, we'll go ahead and put a picture of of Countdown up on our screen here in honor of the TIE Striker. So we see Countdown, Pure Sabak going down by a single point. That is the TIE Striker able to bump up his attack value while he's not damaged. And the Black Squadron Scouts and Planetary Sentinels also, it's that essentially what it seems to me, and I think, Ryan, you've kind of alluded to, it seems like a lot of the spammable ships have been punished here. Basically, if you can spam it, you got to tax, whatever it is. I know Ryan's not super happy about it, but that is what has been done.
Don't know what they did to deserve this.
It's, you know what? I blame anybody who just says build a ship and go copy.
Yeah, they were good, Ryan. Come on now.
No.
Well, maybe not. I mean, okay,
All
but-
success numbers show that they've all been trending down, and very rarely have any spam lists done really well enough, and they barely do anything in the cut. Like they're good. There's some that good make cut lists, and even them, that was a very low percentage.
True that. Though at the start of let me remember. Let me go back here. Start of first edition, 34 points is where they were at. They dropped down to 31, and they got back bumped up to 32. So interesting. I know on the onset.
Oof. Look at that 38-point Black Scout. Yikes.
Yeah, nobody even looked at those. Didn't even look at those. All right, but let's move on to our decimators, the thick ones. We got Rear Admiral Sharanu going down by 1 point. Mornaki, who really saw very little play, though I did play a game against a Mornaki. I played against Jason, and I'm forgetting your name. You were part of the last tournament I played in right before all this COVID stuff started. I played against a Mornaki. Was interesting. He actually played it pretty well with that reinforced, being able to flip front or back and being able to hold on to those. Then Captain Oiken, who has seen nearly no play, down 3 points from 74 down to 71. They're just saying, hey, you want to fly some of this thickness? Come give it a try. That's
Here's
where we're
free
at.
intimidation.
That's right. There you go. It's free. All right, we're moving into those Imperial upgrades as we close here on the Empire. We talk about those configurations. Maneuver assist, free. I mean, why not, right? Also, targeting assist going down to 1 point, -2. I know a lot of people preferred that target assist over maneuver assist when they were being paid. When you were paying the points for it, I personally prefer the maneuver assists in order to get that chassis moving a little bit. And, they're still relative to each other, the same idea, with targeting assist costing a little bit more, but you might be able to fit more in the list now with it. TIE Defender Elite. A card that made the Defender a worse chassis goes down to 0. Nobody is surprised. I don't think anybody here is surprised, but it's here's my question. TIE Defender Elite. Let's go ahead and pull it up. We gotta do it. We gotta do it. Oh, Defender Elite. Okay. So the ability, for those who do not remember, decrease the difficulty of your hard turns, increase the difficulty of your K turns, aka it's not a defender anymore. Replace your full throttle ship ability with the following. the advanced fire control. After you perform a cannon or missile attack, if you have a lock on the defender, you may perform a bonus primary attack against the defender. Friends, aggro defenders, are they going to be a thing? I mean, you got maybe heavy laser cannon went down a little bit, plus this. I don't know. I'm still not convinced.
No. Nope. Please no.
No.
There is some decent synergy with like thread tracers. They could shoot a thread tracer. If it hit, you could shoot your primary. Mm-hmm. I guess maybe fire control system Vessery. Ugh, none of that sounds great.
Will's like, ew. Alrighty. Well, we'll move on from that one and go to Marcel celebrating in the streets. Admiral Sloan goes up from 12 points to 16 points, though from his face, I think he wanted it to be even more expensive just for his personal experiences versus Sloan.
Somebody in the chat pointed out that Sloan at 16 with everything else that changed still allows for like the aggressor spam and Sloan on Pharaoh, whatever it was being flown on. Not enough.
All right.
Kill it.
The Sloan carrier has gotten more expensive. How about that? It's worth more when you get it.
I don't think it fits. It doesn't have Feroth anymore.
Yeah, see?
What is it? Is it on a generic now?
You can get Vizier. Start coordinating. You can't. Don't be laughs at that. You can also put it on an Omicron. I don't know if you can put it on Psi. No.
Yeah, and we can. Now's not the right time for this soapbox, but I have a huge soapbox about why this card is just bad. Bad design, bad everything else. So we can talk about it some other time. But it could be 100 points, and I would, as long as it's still in the game at 100 points, I still wouldn't like it.
All right. Well, we'll keep it rolling here. We see Sienna Ree, the crew card specifically, going down 2 points. It's kind of it's an interesting card. I've tried to mess around with it. I haven't had too much success. But basically, after you perform a coordinate, so this needs to be on either a Lambda or a Decimator right now in the Empire, or I guess it could also be in an Epic. If the ship you coordinated performed a barrel roll or boost action, it may gain a strain to rotate 90 degrees. So getting or stress, not a strain, excuse me. You can get some pretty cool positioning, especially if it is moving after that 90-degree turn. But we'll see if Sienna sees any play. I doubt it just because the card is kind of niche and doesn't really specifically help defense or offense, so that's why it usually doesn't. It's not sexy enough to put in a list right now. Moff Jerjerrod down 1 point. That's good on Decimators. Down being able to get a little. I believe this is the. Let me make sure it is what I'm thinking. Right. Yeah, being able to boost with those Decimators, get a little bit of maneuverability. That is a weakness of them. Now we get our first look at Protectorate Gleb. We alluded to it in one of our other sections, but Gleb going from 2 points to 6 points. No auto include coordinator, though didn't see too much play in Imperials. I saw mostly in Scum, and but still good to see Gleb going up some points there from 2 to 6, total of 4-point difference. ISB Slicers goes down to a single point. Have you ever played against somebody playing ISB Slicers?
I've played ISB Slicers.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do it.
So it's during the end phase, enemy ships at range 1 to 2 cannot remove jam tokens.
Well, let me premise this. Scarif-based pilots remain at 39 points. See where I'm going with this? That's 5 Reapers, all with ISB slicers. Oof, you ain't getting out of them jams.
That's some thick aileroning. That's gonna stop you from taking any actions for multiple turns. Turns out
yeah.
it's nice to have ISB slicers because they always had the issue of I'm gonna jam you, and then they just bump into you anyway and don't get an action. It's like, oh, what if you kept that jam again and again and again?
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Good thing this isn't
the jamming shenanigans were all coming to that.
Well,
Not
it's
today.
at range 1 to 2, not at 0 to 2. So if they bump you, they still can lose
Oh,
the jam.
you have 5 Reapers.
Yeah,
You're not
5.
bumping 5 of them.
Someone's gonna get jammed. I don't know. Could you? No, Hondo's 5 points. Never mind. I thought you could maybe sneak Hondo in there, but interesting. We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, someone puts ISB slices on the table.
We'll see who's brave enough. All right. Last few here. Emperor Palpatine going up 1 point. We haven't seen Palpatine be active too much in competitive events, but I look at this change here, and I feel like it's with some of the higher initiative ships. How do I want to say it? With the bid thing, the bid construct changing, I feel like Emperor Palpatine going up 1 point is just kind of like, hey, we don't want to give you too much free real estate if you're going to be bringing Palpatine. It's going up 1 point, but also the Lambdas went down in points, which is most of the time where you're putting this. So we'll end up seeing, of course, you can't always put it on a Reaper as well, right? They have 2 crew slots. Do they still have 2 crew slots? Right?
Yep.
And last but not least, ST321 also went down 1 point, being able to get some target locks for your Lambda shuttle. But the last one I want to hit here, and it is a great one for the Empire. Disciplined goes up from 1 point to 2 points. Here's my question. This is a card that a lot of people have been experimenting with. We've seen the power of those lower initiative ships. One of the lists that immediately comes to mind is the Goran Strikers list. That's probably one of the most popular ones that's been out there. But Discipline's been used a lot. 2 points, is that enough to keep it in check? And now, by the way, I'm not saying that this has been one of the most oppressive things that has been happening lately. But do you think it's a good cost for this card?
I think so, because it's the same. It's same with Juke. It's got a multiplier effect. So if you have it on one ship, it's not that big a deal. It really gains in value as you add it to multiple ships, and the more ships that have it are basically doubling the cost. So I think 2 points is fine, especially considering that it triggers when one of those ships dies. Normally, I'm not a big fan of punishing the person who killed the ship by, something negative happening to you because you killed the ship.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as a point and just a game balance standpoint, I think 2 points sounds about right. At least for a testing period. I don't think it was ever broken. I think you said that it was never really broken. It was just kind of a feels bad card, and an auto include. I don't think it's auto include at 2.
All right, so that has been all the changes that have been hit here for the Empire, and our magic number minus 50. 50 points has been the total reduction in the Empire. All right, boys, we're moving on to Scum and Villainy.
I'm going to take